This is Nick with Build Brothers Roofing. Started my digital inspection at 141 Brightwood out here in Chula Vista. This is an architectural asphalt shingle roof. Multiple layers on this roof. There are at least two, although walking on it feels like there is more than likely another one underneath the second layer. And then we have a tar and gravel roof as well on the flat sections of the roof. So obviously we see a lot of wear and tear. All of the ridge caps are completely disintegrated at this point. Staples were used to install this particular layer of roofing. Staples are not up to code. We need to use actual roofing nails in order to meet the standards. You can see that the majority of the shingles are very, very loose. Everything is starting to come up at this point. But again, just the overall state of the ridge caps will give you an idea of what the condition of the actual roof is. I want to point a few other things out over here on the flat sections. The flat sections are always going to be the most important part of the roof because these are the areas where the water tends to not flow as freely off of the roof. You can see that the majority of the base cap is completely exposed on this tar and gravel roof. All of the fiberglass has been completely exposed for a long time, and now everything is starting to wear really, really, really thin. So the waterproofing has been greatly affected throughout this flat roof section. Over here on this section, you can see how the roof to wall flashing is not proper. This is starting to come apart now, so whenever it rains, water is going to be coming down this wall and getting directly into all these cavities. We got some skylights that are on this roof. These are going to need to be resealed and flashed properly. You can see the majority of them just have a bunch of mastic that was used to seal them off. All that mastic is starting to crack. The waterproofing is going to be affected on that portion as well. And then you can see the sealant around the penetrations. All this looks to be really original. This stuff is really, really old. Now water and moisture is going to be coming down those pipes every time that it rains. So as far as the overall condition of this roof goes, based off of the amount of granule loss that we have on this asphalt shingle product, which is not that much at the moment, I would imagine that you could get a couple years left out of this roof. The flat roof is going to be a different story. I would suggest moving quickly on the flat roof. But again, as far as the roof itself goes, we can get a few years left out of it. There are multiple layers that are on this roof. It would be a very, very good idea for this homeowner to consider completely re-roofing as they're in the buying process with this particular home. Anytime you see 3 layers on a roof with ridge caps that are in that state, it is telling that it's going to be leaking sooner than later. It does not matter how new a roofing product is if it was not installed properly. And the fact that there are so many layers on this roof is essentially putting a couple of band-aids on the roof itself instead of getting down to what the main issues are. So when it is time to re-roof, we're going to tear this thing down to the wood decking. That way we can address any kind of bad wood that is underneath the structure. Same thing with this flat roof. We'll replace this roof with an Owens Corning asphalt shingle, an architectural asphalt shingle that'll come with a 50-year warranty from Owens Corning. We're going to add synthetic underlayment to this. That's part of the 50-year warranty with Owens Corning as well. Reflash, reseal each and every one of these penetrations, and then we're going to add some exhaust ventilation to it, at least 2 on each of these roof planes. As far as this flat roof goes, we're going to tear this tar and gravel roof off, get down the decking, same thing, and then I want to TPO this. I want to add TPO to this particular roof. It's going to help cool down the property a lot. It's extremely water resistant. It does a really good job when it comes to withstanding any kind of ponding water. You can see that a lot of areas on this roof it's flat to where that water has nowhere to go, and it sits in all these areas where the granules accumulate. We're going to have to redo this roof to wall flashing as well to ensure that that's proper, so that this entire structure ends up being waterproof. So again, in conclusion with this roof, this is an old roof that was not necessarily installed properly the first go around. And what that means is that it will not last as long as it should. This roof might have a couple years left on it, but you can see from the current condition of the ridge caps just how worn this roof is. There's a ton of exposed nail heads on this roof. Each and every one of these exposed nail heads is a leak waiting to happen, and that is going on throughout the roof. That's it for my inspection.